pee, by the way. Hey, everybody.
What up?
Wrestling Through the Years. I already almost fucked up and called it our old podcast.
Yeah.
Wrestling Through the Years. You're on the YouTube channel. Welcome. If you're a first-time viewer, listener, whatever, nice to have you here.
Hopefully we get some viewers today.
Hopefully we get some fucking viewers today. We've been doing pretty good on getting views after the fact, though. At least a few.
Yeah,
We're
Spotify.
We're like a phoenix from the ashes right now, off of Blog Talk Radio. We're flying up into the atmosphere, and we're just trying our fucking best. Especially Doug. Look at him. He just waxed that head. But I'm here. I'm Big Dizzle. I am one of the hosts of this fine program, Wrestling Through the Years. Check out our Facebook group. Follow us on X. Follow us wherever you can follow us, all right?
Just not into our house.
Unless you're hot. I'm here with Doug. Dutchie.
Hey, how's everybody doing? I mean, one person I know you'd be more than happy to have follow you into the house is Leah from Big Brother.
I wouldn't be mad at it. Her gameplay's not impressing me, but yeah.
Her gameplay's not impressing anybody.
And we have the ever handsome.
She's just another woman in the house.
Yeah.
We can do that on another podcast.
And we lost the demographic. We had so many. My tits were bringing all the chicks in, and you fucked it up. Thanks. You called her a hoochie.
Sorry.
I haven't even introduced you yet. And we have the ever handsome, ever magical. They call him the sensational one. Mr. Magic, Mr. Lovemaker, Money E. We got
Daddy
Eric
Magic.
Daddy Magic. We got Eric here.
What's up?
How are
I
you?
got my Brock Lesnar shirt today.
Damn
Good.
I thought he was getting ready to take his shirt off. I was getting excited.
I thought he said he had a bra on. It's like, hey, out of everybody in this chat, I think you're the one that doesn't need one.
Brock Lesnar.
He's the man.
Needs a bra?
Beast.
Yeah, he's got big pecs.
Yeah.
He's got big pecs.
Maybe one day we'll get him on the pod.
Yeah, maybe.
Not if I keep referencing the fact he might need a bra.
What Clash is this?
Clash number
24.
Thanks, Eric. Well, thank God we have Eric on the show.
I was just gonna say
the real wrestling historian Eric's with us, ladies and gentlemen. Doug's just a producer.
No wonder we can't get anything to work if I'm producing. Jesus Christ.
We actually got stuff to work today.
Yeah, we did good. Clash of the Champions 24 from 1993.
August 18th, 1993,
Okay.
to be exact. So this
Anniversary this week.
yeah, and it's funny this particular clash. We did it for a couple reasons. Obviously, an infamous debut, and they needed to rebuild a new wall. And this is actually this was, I believe, 12 days before SummerSlam.
Yes.
Because I think SummerSlam was August. I want to say August, like 20, or so it might have actually even been 10 days before.
Yeah.
Before SummerSlam. I don't remember the exact date.
This is August 18th, 1993.
You were alive at least. I wasn't even staying on a mattress yet.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the date for SummerSlam that year, Eric.
Okay.
Yeah. As the WWF is getting ready for the Lex Express to land in Auburn Hills, Michigan, as he gets ready to challenge Yokozuna, we have the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith getting ready to challenge WCW's Behemoth champion, Big Van Vader.
Yeah.
For the WCW World title. What the fuck?
It's Vince Russo now. I like Jack Perry better last week.
Yeah. And
I don't know why it changed. I must have hit that by accident.
You make mistakes. Everybody does it.
yeah, I do it all the time. I probably did one a couple minutes ago.
Maybe too much.
Yeah. But yeah, so as that's getting ready to happen, we're getting ready to see Davey Boy and the Bulldog in what is going to be a rematch from Slamboree. And this time it's a match where if Vader gets disqualified like he did at Slamboree, then Davey Boy becomes the new World's Heavyweight Champion. Also on this card, 2 other title matches with Paul Orndorff defending the television title against Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Arn Anderson and Paul Roma, the Horsemen, challenging the Hollywood Blondes for the WCW World Tag Team titles. So, and of course, you got other matches on there too, which we'll get into. But this was an interesting period of time because the business still wasn't great, but Eric Bischoff was starting to take over, and I'm pretty sure Dusty had taken over creative from Ole.
Yeah,
because Ole was technically still with the company, I think, because when Shockmaster came out, that was Ole's voice.
Yeah, because Ole was laughing his ass off in the back.
Yeah.
The Shockmaster shit is what this show is mostly known for. But going back and watching it, it's actually a very entertaining wrestling show with some good stuff on it. Maybe not 5-star shit, but it was still like it was pretty watchable for me. I really enjoyed this one, so I'm excited to get into it. We're in Daytona. You want to start? Eric, do you have anything? Oh,
yeah, it was a pretty decent show with some good matches.
Yeah.
We got to do Worker of the Week, right?
Yeah, we got to do Worker of the Week. A segment here at the beginning of the show. Well, I guess, towards the beginning of the show where we talk about our favorite of this week in wrestling. It can be anything, even though it's Worker of the Week. It can be a manager. It can be a general manager. It can be anybody. As long as they are, elite in the business and killed it that week, even if they aren't elite. Whatever company, doesn't matter. But for that week in wrestling, they were the baddest of asses.
Right.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
I'm going to go first. And I'm going to have to give it to one Dominic Mysterio. Because he has been playing his role perfectly.
Damn.
That's hilarious. He's been playing this role perfectly. He's been the ultimate slime ball. He's been channeling Eddie Guerrero in the best ways. And this whole deal with Mommy, Rhea Ripley, and Liv Morgan, the whole thing's been a great story. And watching it unfold has been a lot of fun. So I think it's going to be even more fun when, Mommy gets a revenge and she, power bombs Dom in the middle of the ring or something.
Yeah. He's taking an ass kicking from her.
Oh, he's going to take a big one. This has been a really fun thing. And seeing it play out in SummerSlam and Raw, and this has been the A story, even more than the Bloodline. So Raw has been a really good show lately. It's been a lot of people's favorite wrestling program, mine included. And it's mostly that because of Dominic Mysterio and his antics in the show with the Judgment Day. So got to go Dom.
Yeah. I'm going to give it to the new United States champion, L.A. Knight.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a match with him and Logan at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
He finally gets a moment which he's been waiting for so long.
Yeah, yes.
And I was very happy for him. One time known as Eli Drake in the Independents and an Impact and NWA and all that. Wins a championship in WWE finally after being around for, I'm pretty sure 4 years now.
Yeah, a pretty long wait for gold for him. People have been demanding this man get something for the longest time. And when he was doing the shit with Roman, it was really cool. And he's always kind of felt elevated like a star. But I feel like they've tried to, especially calling him the megastar and stuff, I feel like they've kind of done the Jey Uso thing, even though Jey Uso always has tag belts. So that analogy really doesn't work. But they kind of do the thing with him where they're like, he doesn't really need the belt. He doesn't need a belt. He has a marquee match. He does this thing. He does that. But he was getting to the point where he did need a belt. And he did need something to say, a stamp like, hey, I'm the United States champion. I'm the fucking guy now. Cody might be WWE champion. You might have world champions, but I'm the U.S. champion. Logan Paul did great heel work, building this thing up. Both of these guys. It's been a fun build. It was a really good match. Logan fucking went hard doing that fly off the fucking top of the ring. Oh my God. He pushes the envelope, and he's also. But here's the thing: he's not just doing acrobatic, high flying shit. He's not just wrestling like a luchador. The psychology in his wrestling, the facial expressions. The guy does get it, and I'm not going to be the millionth guy to fucking blow him about it because I feel like he does get his praise that he does deserve. But he does deserve it because he walked into this as a celebrity and he's been the best celebrity to ever do it. Not Bad Bunny, not anybody else.
It says down here you can barely read it, but if you actually look, it does say professional idiot.
Yeah. Well, there we go.
Yeah, I see it.
Well, as long as the people know.
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost 10 minutes in. They know.
If they listened to last week's episode, they definitely know.
Yeah.
Especially if they were around while we were trying to actually get on the air last week.
Yeah, that was fun. that was a fun time. But no, Logan's a great heel, but LA did the perfect baby face. Like they were a good matchup. I was waiting for them to go. We thought it was going to happen at WrestleMania. We didn't think that they were going to do the AJ Styles pivot, but AJ Styles is really good at getting people over too.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little. But they haven't really done. LA has been kind of like not pushed to the side, but just a little like they've always had him on TV and he shows up on SmackDown. But it's like it was getting to the point to it's like. Because Triple H has said when people complained about him and his push, like, wait, there's always a bigger story. Just wait for the story. But we were kind of sitting around like, is he in the fucking story? Like, is he even a side character in the story? Where is he? So now that he's really got some fire under his ass, and he just won the title, and I think he's going to run with it. And he's got a couple of people he can work with. SmackDown kind of has a heel problem, in my opinion, besides the Bloodline. So you can't say it has a heel problem. I take that statement back because with the Bloodline, you have 4 heels right there, even though 2 of them are like elite.
Yeah, and 2 of them because Tonga Loa has the patch on his eye, and Jacob Fatu got hurt.
Yeah, is it real? I keep hearing that he was just selling it.
I mean, he was walking around.
It was a legit injury.
If he was walking around in a walking boot. So unless he's really devoted to selling the injury.
Yeah. So there you go. He's out. And Tonga Loa is going. He's infamous for not even being able to punch somebody in the testicles the right way. So I like Tama Tonga, and I think he's a fiery little bastard, and I think he's going to be a good heel for a lot of people to work. But you got Escobar, you got some people for LA to tie it up with. Escobar
and Andrade tonight. Winner gets a shot at LA Knight.
So there you go. And I'm sure and even if it's Andrade and LA Knight for the US title sounds like a banger.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. And while we're on the Bloodline, I know, and Erica, you're gonna do your work of the week. But
we got time to kill.
We got time to kill. We got all night. Or at least until SmackDown. But we got a while. Solo Sikoa has done a great job. I finally decided I've been battling in my own head for the longest time. Is this guy impressing me, or is he just being put in a position and he's doing his job? He's just doing his job. Is he just doing his job, or is he actually really good? I think I've decided that he's really good because this has been a lot of pressure for him. You think about being a stooge. You go from the head stooge, but still a stooge, to running the operation, to being the guy with a whole group behind you and your main event of SummerSlam, which is a big show. Some people would argue it's the number 4 show, but even for a company that does 12 a year, 4 is not bad. So
I think a lot of people actually put it right behind WrestleMania. So they might say number 2. I personally would say number 3 because I put the Rumble ahead of it.
Yeah, Survivor Series in its prime was ahead of it too, though.
I mean, yeah, not so much. I mean, with War Games now, it's kind of.
But
back. I still like the Survivor Series concept. I wish they would have still kept it.
Yeah,
I love the elimination matches, but
I wish we could have War Games and that. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I miss the 5-on-5.
But Solo, even if he has dressed like the Penguin from Batman at times, I think he's done an incredible job at being this new leader of the Bloodline and making it convincing. When Roman showed up and Roman hit him with that spear, and the crowd might have been a little dead during the match, but they knew Roman was coming, so they were just waiting for that. And when Roman popped out, that crowd was so hyped. And when he hit that man with the Superman punch and the spear, just nodded at Cody, and it's like Roman's a babyface again. This is what we all wanted. It was incredible. And now Roman and Solo going into a program, their first singles match, Roman will do the job for him.
Yeah.
Roman's going to put him over.
Yeah, because Roman doesn't really have anybody right now. Now, they might try to hold off a little bit because of, the fact that Jacob's hurt, because Solo needs that backup to beat him.
Yeah. But I don't think you can. I think you got to go on the gas.
Yeah.
I'm saying, it sucks Jacob Fatu's not there because that match is more exciting than the Solo match almost. But it is what it is. You got to get the singles match because you got to build up to War Games, because the main event of War Games is going to be Roman and maybe he gets Jay on board. Maybe that's why they haven't been doing much with Jay. Maybe Jimmy comes back. Maybe he fucking finds a way to talk to Sami Zayn's got some free time. He's not an Intercontinental Champion anymore on a different brand, but they can switch shows.
Well, remember, like Aldis and Pierce worked out a deal. All right, for A-Town Down to go to Raw on Monday night.
Yes.
All right. Also, part of that deal you have to think was Randy Orton.
Yes.
All right. Well, what is SmackDown getting in return? It's got to be. I'm almost thinking, and somebody brought this up on another show the other day. Somebody said, what if Sammy and Jay go to SmackDown and challenge the Bloodline for the tag titles?
Uh-huh.
So that could work. You also have two other members of the Bloodline, Tonga and Tama's brother Hakilo, who is signed with the company and waiting to debut. Yeah. And I got a feeling that's going to happen sooner rather than later, especially with Jacob hurt.
Yeah.
And you have Umaga's son, who is signed with the company and ready to debut.
I'm fine with all that. I really think all Roman needs to do is get the Usos back together and fucking.
I'm talking about like for solos.
Yeah, if Jacob's not good by then, and if you really don't want Tongaloa to wrestle, but Tama Tonga can go, so those three are fine for War Games. You just need two more.
And the one
it's 5-on-5, right?
Yeah. Sometimes, like I know last year the women's match was 4-on-4, but usually it's 5. Like the men's is always 5-on-5.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why the women's match was 4-on-4 last year is because Dakota Kai wasn't cleared and they didn't think anybody else could cut it.
Hopefully, Jacob can get good for that War Games because he will be a highlight of it.
And I see it happening. Like, hopefully, this is only like a few week injury and he can. He can bounce back. I mean, there's been no word on whether or not he needs surgery.
Because that's been a guy that's like, and I know people wanted, because people don't ever like what they have. They want, the next bigger, better thing. And people are like, fuck Solo. Jacob's the guy. He needs to be the head of the Bloodline. He's not, but him as this, what is he called, the Enforcer? Isn't that what he's been called? Him as the Enforcer and him, and his facial expressions and as crazy as he's been. And when he came in and screwed up all the tag teams when he took out Austin Theory when Waller got out of the way and he fucking ran at Austin Theory and then he starts destroying what was it? DIY. That was cool shit, man. And he's just looked exciting. This injury I do not think will slow him down at all. As soon as he comes back, it's back to fucking gear one, especially with this Bloodline storyline. He's not going to fucking skip a beat. And because that guy is the man that's going to be a highlight for WWE for the next 5 years.
One comparison I kind of wanted to make, and then we'll finally get to his worker of the week, although I'm pretty sure you forgot who it was, is like...
I stole his first one.
Yeah. Like, if you kind of look at, to kind of use an analogy, you talk about Solo taking over the Bloodline from Roman.
Yeah.
Imagine if Smithers took over for Mr. Burns on The Simpsons. All right. And like, because they've done episodes like that before where Smithers has kind of taken over and like tried to overtake the evil Mr. Burns.
Yes.
And then Smithers becomes more and more evil. But like you look at it and it's just, you didn't want it to work because Smithers is kind of a low, he's not necessarily an evil person.
Yeah.
but he can get evil. So because I think there was a couple episodes where he did kind of get.
Yeah.
That's the way it is with Solo. Like, you don't really, because Solo, before he took over as tribal chief, was going on a 35 match losing streak.
Yeah.
So,
but he's been intimidating. He has grown into the role, and we did have the thought, even though it's like, no, Roman probably will come back, Cody's probably going to win. There was a slight thought that Solo might get this thing. They might actually give Solo the title, and that means he's done his job. Eric, who's your worker of the week?
The new IC champion, Braun Baker.
Incredible talent.
He was great against Sam and did.
So good.
A long match, but he did what he had to do, and he's a new IC champion. And hopefully he'll have like a 6-month reign with it, and really dominate that with that title, as he should.
Yeah, 100%. And he's gonna. But it makes me even more confident. I'm glad they had him jobbed the first time. I'm glad they had him lose clean to Sami Zayn, and the whole build after that and up until SummerSlam and him winning the title, they have treated this guy perfectly. Giving him the loss, it didn't mean anything. It doesn't. We don't think he's weak. We don't think he's a pussy. He's still a badass. He's still the guy that nobody. It seems like unstoppable. You can't beat him. But Sami Zayn did get one over on him. That made him even more pissed. That made him even more geared up. And then he got him the next time. That's good storytelling. And they got good stuff going with him. And he's got so many good baby faces to work. Just like Gunther right now has so many good baby faces to work as the heavyweight champion, so does Braun Breaker. He has.
And hopefully we'll get that showdown at some point.
You can do Sheamus again. You can do Seth, Punk, and even Drew, even though Drew's a heel. You can do all those things when that stuff's settled. You can go back to Sammy. You can go to Damian after the whole Dominic and after him and Mommy, they're joined forces right now fighting the Judgment Day. But after that, because now Damian Priest is a hot baby face now, you go straight from that stuff and you put him against Braun Breaker for the IC title. That'd be a big money Intercontinental title match.
And be Dirty Dom.
I think, first of all, he's got one more match with Sami Zayn. It's 2 out of 3 falls.
Yes.
Which I think is going to be really good. As long as they do 3 really good falls, and not like this first fall, whoever wins the match within 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And then have a really good second fall, but then have a really good third fall.
Yeah.
I hate when the first fall's quick. I'm right there with you.
So
it makes no sense for a structure of a wrestling match. He would never beat that guy in 10 seconds in a real match. Why is he beating him 10 seconds in an Iron Man match? I agree with you. Go ahead.
So, but also too, you think about it, I think when Braun Breaker gets a chance to and works with Sheamus, because, remember, the story with Sheamus is he has always wanted to win the Intercontinental title.
Yeah.
He hasn't won it yet. And we're going to get those matches.
That's surprising.
Yeah. And we're going to get those matches with him and Braun Breaker. We had one a few weeks ago, but that Ludwig Kaiser, who I see nothing in, and I don't know what the hell Tiffany Stratton sees in him. And she must have both contacts in the same eye. But he got involved because I think one of the plans was it was going to be multi-man at SummerSlam, but then they're like, fuck it, Braun and Sammy kind of have a story, so let's just do that. Which I'm glad they did. A lot of people I think were complaining about how short the match was, but you needed a Breaker to look dominant.
Yeah.
And what was funny was the footage they showed of Uncle Scott and Papa Rick.
I was so good.
Sitting up there, and you could tell Scott was a little more excited than Rick because I'm pretty sure Rick knew it was coming.
Well, yeah, I mean, they were both so proud. And by the way, Paige was there too.
Dallas Page. It was funny that Legends box was all WCW people. almost, if you think about it. It was Nash, Sean Waltman, the Steiners, Dallas Page, Jacqueline was there.
Well, let's be honest. Braun Breaker kind of reminds us fondly of WCW.
Yeah.
And that kind of like, not even like a Goldberg, but like he's such a perfect combination of his dad and his uncle. And he's got that WCW intensity. Not that WWE's never had it, but there's something about the WCW guys when they fucking got real fired up. I don't know, man. Maybe it's just I'm just biased, but Braun Baker reminds me of that hard-hitting NWA WCW style. And he's the perfect rep. And this is the perfect conversation to lead us into this before we go into this, the Clash. Because the Clash is something that I really enjoy because this time period, even though it is looked upon unfondly, and it is looked upon as not the best wrestling, bad ideas, bad management, one of the best rosters of all time.
Yeah.
You can say what you want, but when you have a roster with Ric Flair, Sting, Arn, Vader, Cactus comes back on this show, spoiler alert, Sid Vicious, Rick Rude, Davey Boy, keep naming them.
Hawk,
yeah, like
and don't forget your up and comers like Regal and Dustin Rhodes and Steve Austin and Brian Pillman, Johnny B. Bad, Orndorff, who's a great veteran who, by the way, also can draw houses.
We didn't even say the name Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. That's how deep this roster is. It's one of the best rosters of all time. And before we get into that, that's what right now, with WWE being so damn hot and as big as it's been in a very long time, where does this roster rank up for you guys? When you got with some of the best rosters, to me, WCW 98, 97, Attitude Era, that early Ruthless Aggression when you got the WCW guys started trickling in and you had like an all-star of like Kevin Nash, you had Goldberg, fucking Triple H, all these people in the same locker room. Stone Cold was still kind of around. Where does that add up with today's, when you have a Cody Rhodes, you have a Roman Reigns, you have a Jey Uso, you have a Seth Rollins, a CM Punk, a Drew McIntyre, all these guys, and the up-and-coming stars, like Gunther's not even up-and-coming anymore, and Damian Priest and those guys. And you have a Braun Breaker, who's going to be the biggest star in the business at some point. And you've got Sami Zayn and Randy Orton and Kevin Owens and all. Where does this roster rank up?
And don't forget your women's division,
which is a whole entirely new, entirely different thing. That's equally as solid.
I would say top 7.
Turn your camera back on so I can see your face. I don't want to talk over you, Bubba. Thank you.
Top 7.
Top 7 of the guys or the girls?
Guys. My top 5.
My top 5 in this order would be right now based on biggest stars for the roster and the guys, Cody, Roman, next to each other. No one has the top spot. Those are the two.
Yep. 1A, 1B.
Sammy, because that's your strongest baby face besides Cody. That's your one guy that you could always give a title shot and everybody's going to root for him.
And Randy.
Randy's such a veteran. He's got to be in the top 5. I agree. Randy, and I would almost put a Gunther up there. And that's no offense. And Punk, like I said, that roster's so deep it's hard for me to come up with a top 5 because I like a lot of these guys. I can give you a top 20. That's how fucking good this roster is. So that's just my thing. Where does it rank with the other all-time rosters? Because I think it's up there. Like I remember Sheamus in 2017 or something being like, "We're better than the Attitude Era." If you really looked at the roster, it's like, no, you guys weren't there yet. Right now, they're pretty there. And not only with the creative vision, if you take away all that, just put the guys, they have a really deep roster pool of talent. And the girls.
I think as far as like everybody that's over, you can't really get past Attitude Era almost kind of did.
Yeah.
But you can't really look past that that WWF Golden Era 89 or 88 through 89 roster, even going back as far as like 87, because you had Hogan, you had Andre Savage,
Rick Rude, perfect.
Rick Rude,
Macho,
perfect.
yeah.
DiBiase, Duggan,
Warrior.
Bossman, Jake, Warrior. You had all those guys, and by the way, like you had means to put them on mainstream television.
Yes.
Talk shows, because you had people who were fans of the business, Regis Philbin and Arsenio Hall,
Yeah.
who loved having all these guys on the show. Now, people associated with those programs, Kathy Lee hated these guys.
Yes.
Kathy Lee hated wrestling.
Yes.
All right. But Kathy Lee hates just about everything because she's a bitter. Anyway,
Go ahead, but I got a point after.
And Arsenio, but because they were fans and all that, you were able to get these guys, even some of the not necessarily lower card guys, but the mid card guys. It's like, okay, you do like a special week, you can get them on.
Yeah.
But like today's crop, it's much easier to get the mainstream attention because they're always doing podcast interviews.
Yeah, and social media and shit like that. So huge.
At the Attitude Era, it was kind of different because it was, they would still go on Regis. So there's, they would still go on that, but like that's really all they had, except for maybe like if they could get like minor roles like Austin. When he had the recurring role on Nash Bridges for a while.
Yeah.
Triple H did an episode of Drew Carey. China actually had a, believe it or not, I don't know if anybody remembers this, but China had a recurring role for a season or two on Third Rock from the Sun.
Yeah.
Wow.
And other stuff. Back in the day, but like nowadays, again, it's so much easier for them to get out there. But yeah, to me, like you can't really beat that 87 through 89, maybe 1990 crop of talent, just because of how hot they were and how much in demand they were.
Yes. And I will agree.
True.
And I will also say another thing, that while WWE is killing it, and they are the top of the top right now, they do still have some mid-card guys and some undercard guys that aren't exactly as over as everybody else, that are put on television. They do a great job with their television of having those guys wrestle matches on Raw and SmackDown, and then having the big money stars come out and do a promo or talk or hype up the pay-per-view. They kind of have the old school approach back and then you'll have a match with Ivar. No offense to Ivar, people aren't watching that show for him. Whereas in the Attitude Era, even fucking Taka Michinoku was getting over. No offense to Taka's ability, he's a great wrestler, but like as a position on the card, he's usually the opener or second or third in, and he was still getting over. Your Crash Hollies, your Road Dogs, like all your guys, every single
found stuff for them to do.
Yeah. The guys now, even though Triple H is creative, I cannot say much bad against it. The man is fucking delivering. But you do still have some matches that don't exactly have much heat with some of the undercard guys. Like you still have some guys finding their footing. Like Austin Theory still has some footing to find but he's getting there, but he's still got some footing to find. You've still got some guys that are still figuring some stuff out. But that's the beauty of it, too, and that's okay. And it's good to put those guys on television, too. Not everything needs to be a five-star thing. Sometimes you need to put people on television to keep working on their craft. But that is the one thing I will say. During that Attitude Era and shit, every single segment, the crowd was popping and everybody's into it. And whereas Raw nowadays, most of them, and when you got Judgment Day shit throughout and this person's showing up, but there are sometimes you'll get Tozawa versus Ivar match. Sorry for keep putting Ivar in this, but like anything with Karrion Kross is not getting the reaction they want it to get right now. No offense to Karrion, I think he's. But him and the AOP and that shit with the New Day, that shit's not working. There are still a couple things that aren't working, but there is a lot that is. More than ever. So let's talk about the Clash.
What would you consider Finn Balor?
He's found it. He's found his niche. He's not the indie darling that the world wanted him to be, and the underdog and the new Daniel Bryan and all that. But his character work has got him back to the dance. And he is a phenomenal wrestler, and in the ring, can go with the best of them. But he has finally found his niche as this kind of like dark but douchey but funny like character in the Judgment Day, and how he's kind of leading the ship now, even though he's not. And you got Liv and Dom too, but he fucking fucked Damien over, and Finn's really doing his thing, and he has contributed as much as everybody else in this whole storyline, and he is a big part, just like everybody else is. So I will say Finn is one of those guys that has found his footing. He may not be at the top of the card, but not everybody always needs to be. Finn has every segment with Finn is usually entertaining, and every match is usually good. So I think he's doing his thing. All right. Let's talk about half hour in, or 40 minutes in almost. Let's talk about the Clash. This is one of your favorite time periods in WCW, Doug. We talked about it briefly with the great roster. We know we're at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. What station is this on again?
It's going to be on TBS.
It's going to be on TBS.
They weren't putting anything on TNT just yet.
Yes. We opened with the Four Horsemen, baby, the iconic tag team of the Four Horsemen. This is what we opened with. Whenever you give that blank there, it makes me think I fucked up the match order.
No.
They start with the best tag team iteration of the Horsemen ever.
Arn Anderson and Paul Roma.
Gene Anderson and Ole, eat your heart out. They weren't in the order. That's the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Now I'm really fucking it up. But Ole and Arn, eat your heart out. Ole and Tully, eat your heart out. Ole and Tully. Arn and Tully. The Andersons are fucking hard, man. We're getting later into the show, though. We had a whole work day. Arn and Tully is the actual best tag team. Arn and Paul Roma, in a heel setting, I think could work. As baby faces,
yeah. And here's what's funny about this. So originally, the Horsemen were going to get back together in 1993, and they had it all set up. Ole was there. Ole was booking.
Yeah,
he was the vice president of wrestling or whatever. And I think Eric just tried to kiss his camera.
Well, we're on the other side of it. You can't.
Eric, I think your screen froze.
Had to try.
We'll do your thing.
So they got back or the Horsemen came back, and there was going to be this whole thing on Flair for the Gold. It was going to be, they were going to reunite the Horsemen, and it was going to be Arn, Flair, Ole came in, and they were going to bring back, Tully was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And Tully at the last minute pulled out. So, and Ole really didn't want to wrestle anymore because Ole's just like, I'm office now, fuck off. And Paul Roma was looking for a job, so they're like, you know what, let's bring him in. We could probably get some mileage out of him. And Arn ended up obviously teaming with him. And it was just, it wasn't really Horseman-like. It'd be like, because this is the second time that the Horsemen have gone babyface.
Yeah. But it just doesn't work. It worked in WCW later on against the NWO. They were a good heel or a good babyface faction to go against them, even though they always were kind of tweeners anyway.
Yeah.
But
they were like the WCW heroes.
Yes, they were. But
mainly.
Them here as baby faces, and Arn cut a hell of a promo after the match, but him and Paul Roma didn't exactly work. Ric Flair later on with Sting was kind of fun as a baby face, but these two together wasn't great. Now they're going against a combination of maybe the British Hollywood Blondes, but the Hollywood Blondes without Brian Pillman, because Brian has a severe injury, and Brian can't work tonight. So, stunning Steve Austin. I hope he ends up working out in the business. Hell of a talent.
Yeah.
He teams up with Lord Steven Regal and those two go against. They defend the titles against Roma and Arn. The match was actually a lot of fun and one of my favorites.
It was a really good match. You had Pillman cut the promo at the beginning saying, we can't do it. I've got a severely injured ankle. And WCW kind of like after that promo, they're just like, nah, the match is advertised. You're doing it.
You're doing it.
And so they did it, and then, but they had to get Regal, and Regal was already scheduled to wrestle at the Clash anyway. He was supposed to wrestle Too Cold Scorpio, but then beautiful Bobby ended up taking Regal's place.
Yeah,
and it was, that was a pretty good match too, which we'll get to. But yeah, this match was fun. Not necessarily a fan of the finish. I wish Arn would have hit the DDT on somebody.
Yeah,
and gotten the win. But I think because they didn't really want to beat Austin, they definitely didn't want to beat Regal like that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got the finish.
Did they get a rematch?
Not that I know of.
No, I thought it was a good match. Eric, what's your thoughts?
Jeno. I thought it was a solid opener. It was good to see a young Stone Cold Steve Austin and William Regal. Everybody forget. I mean, a lot of people forget that William Regal is a very good wrestler. Sometimes people forget that how talented he was when he was young.
100%. Regal was the shit. And Steve,
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Or do we get a delay now? All right.
We got a delay, I think.
That's fine. Regal was the man back then. Steve Austin was the man. And those two were incredibly young and doing their shit. And I thought they were absolutely killing it. I thought they did a great job. And I thought it worked. And even Roma could go, even though like as a babyface I didn't love it. But all four guys could really wrestle, and that's what made this match so good.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing about it too, is that like again, four guys that could wrestle. It might not have been great, but it was definitely a good opening to the Clash. I would probably give it I'd probably give it a 6.5.
What would you give it, Eric?
I'll give it a 6.8 out of 10.
All right. I go about
6.8.
Yeah, I go 6.8. I agree with you. I thought it was a good match and a solid opener. This was one, like I agree with you. I think the wrong team won. You had a lot of babyface victories on this, and I think it sets up for a heel win at the end. But this is one where it's like Austin and Regal could have retained.
Well, Anderson and Roma didn't have the titles for long after this. They dropped the titles just a month later to the Nasties at Fall Brawl.
Well, there you go. All right. Next up, we have the Cold Man, Too Cold Scorpio against beautiful Bobby Eaton.
Yeah. Everybody.
I didn't know
Too Cold Scorpio.
I didn't realize he was in WCW before he went to ECW, where he became pretty much a legend.
Yeah, WCW was his first exposure.
Funk Flash.
Yeah.
He was always a fun talent to watch. Great in the ring and hell of a personality. Great charisma.
Yep.
Too Cold Scorpio was the man. I liked him at ECW. He was good at WCW. He's fun to watch. Good mid-card guy.
Yeah.
Good hand.
And what's funny about
he
this...
was never in WWF.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was. That's when he did Flash Funk. And he had the girls and stuff.
Oh, Flash Funk.
It didn't last long.
But this match was good, and I feel like they did pick a pretty good replacement for Regal with Bobby.
Yeah.
And I actually think it was a better match than it would have been with Regal.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because Bobby knows how to get guys over.
Mm-hmm.
But he also knows how to get his moveset in.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, there's been times I remember hearing a story about back in like 97, 98 WCW. They were going to be, or he was working a match with Savage on Worldwide. And they basically told Savage, they said, hey, you're going to get the majority of the offense in. And he's like, and he goes, why? He goes, I'm a heel. He goes, let me do the heel thing on Bobby. Like, let Bobby get some offense in. And they're just like, well, he's a lower level heel. He's a lower level babyface. And Savage is just like, so what? Like, he needs to get he needs, let him get him some stuff in on me. So Bobby had enough respect back in the day that, like, guys would let him get his spots in.
Yeah.
And again, I thought this was a fun match, and I thought it was one of the better matches for Scorpio to have.
For sure.
And I personally am going to give it I'm going to give it a 7.
All right. I would give it a. Yeah, I'm doing some cool shit, Eric. I'll give it a. I think I give it a. I give it a 7.2.
Yeah.
I thought this was a. It was a good match.
Oh,
go ahead. No. You go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't mean
No, you go ahead. I'm done.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was just saying that I'll give it a 6.5, but you can finish.
No, I don't even remember what I was talking about.
You were just saying how good of a match it was.
Yeah, it was good. It was a great match. You're good, Eric. I thought it was a beautiful match. 7.2. Next up, we have what I thought was complete and utter ass cheeks for the television title. Or no, not for the television title. My bad. The Mask versus Guitar match. Johnny B. Bad versus Max Payne.
Which actually had a story to it.
Yeah, but it sucked.
So, all right, going back to...
I didn't even really pay attention to this.
Yeah. You thought the match sucked so bad that your audio's giving out while you're talking about it. But
sorry. Is it better now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. God, I'm still stuck on Beautiful Bobby. Max Payne and Johnny B. Bad were scheduled to have a match going all the way back to the end of May on WCW Saturday Night. Before the match could get started, Max Payne attacked Johnny B. Bad, stole his Bad Blaster.
Yeah.
So at the Clash of Champions back in June, it was going to be Max versus Johnny B. Bad, but Max sprayed Johnny in the face with some stuff that came out of the back of his guitar, and it actually burned him.
Oh, shit.
So he scarred up.
Yeah.
Couldn't have the match. So at then at Beach Blast that year, they went and they had a match which Johnny won.
Yep.
So in this match, Max Payne wanted to expose Johnny B. Bad's face and the scars that may have been there. So he said, all right, I'm going to put up Norma Jean, my guitar. If you lose, if you win, you get Norma Jean. If you lose, your mask comes off.
Yeah.
So there was a story to this, but oh my God. And I'm a Johnny B. Bad fan, but this match just sucked.
Max Payne was never worth the shit in the wrestling ring. I don't know why they ever even tried. He just didn't have the look. They thought he had a look. It wasn't a look good for wrestling. Chubby with long hair.
I remember the video game more than that guy.
Yeah, well, the video game was fucking good. It was a good video game. It's a great franchise. He wasn't. The franchise is actually better than him. I'd say Shane Douglas is way better. Max Payne sucked. No offense to the guy. I'm sure he's a great guy, but yeah, never worked.
I didn't remember him.
Yeah, he didn't get any shots
I didn't
in
even know
the
which
E,
match
right?
came.
Man Mountain Rock.
Oh yeah. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Blue. And that was better.
You really
than
want me to
this.
leave?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And even that was better than this. Yeah, this is a 2.1. I hated this match.
I'm going to say 2.3 just because I like Johnny.
I'm gonna give it 1
Eric thought it fucking blew.
because I didn't pay attention to the match.
Now we have the TV
You don't even
title
pay
match.
attention to the good matches.
He does too. All right, Doug, you ready for the big TV title match?
Yeah.
I know. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and Paul Orndorff.
It's wonderful.
So,
Funny
go ahead, Eric.
No, I was gonna say, funny enough, this was the first time I actually watched Paul wrestle.
We've never done anything with Paul Orndorff before.
I don't think so.
Oh yeah.
We've done this
Not
fucking
that I can
show
remember.
for 5 years. We've never done anything. Well, I mean, we've done a retrospective on him, but we've never done a
I don't think
fucking.
there's been a pay-per-view with him in it.
Well,
Not that I can remember, maybe.
You've never seen
I am getting
WrestleMania? You never watched WrestleMania?
Maybe
The
that's
first
the
one?
first singles match.
Yeah, he was in the main event of WrestleMania. It was a pretty big deal.
Oh, wow.
not to Eric. So this match was pretty decent. I think the finish was kind of, flubbed a little bit. I mean, yeah, he got the roll up, but then Orndorff power drove him at the end on the ramp, which kind of took away from the win. But
I thought
Did
it was
they have a
I still thought it was
It was
good.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did think this was a good match. Steamboat winning the TV title, which when you do title changes on these kinds of shows,
Yeah.
it's very important.
Yeah.
Because it just goes to show that like a title change on anything besides a pay-per-view, like you really want to watch.
Yeah. Because it doesn't happen often.
Yeah. Like the stupid Battle of the Belts that AEW does, if they start doing title changes on those, they're going to mean more.
Yeah.
But like here, you already have your second title change. It's a big name guy.
Yep.
I mean, I'm going to give it a 7.4.
Okay. We can't hear you.
Eric, your audio went out.
No.
Nope.
Cool?
I still can't hear him.
No. Not hearing you, brother. All right. Yeah, we can't hear you, brother. Well, he's fixing that. Hell of a match. I'd give it an 8 myself. Because wasn't this after the Shockmaster thing, or was Pain and Be Bad after that?
I think Pain and Be Bad was after that.
But I thought it was a really good. I'll say something as soon as I hear you, Eric, but I haven't heard you yet. I thought that this was a really good match that was well done by two very crafty veterans. Two badass individuals. So, yeah, I give it an 8 myself.
Yeah.
He's calling tech support.
Eric, we still can't hear you, so don't even bother texting.
We'll move on. And, well, you want to talk about the Shockmaster shit?
I do.
And he's gone. And it's us. It's the boys. What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
All right.
That was my Demolition impersonation, but
Was that your Shockmaster?
No. The Shockmaster would be, and I'd have to go through the wall.
Yeah, don't do that. I won't staple plywood in front of the thing.
Oh my god, that is like one of the more like fucked up stories.
That's what makes this so awesome. So I'll give the people what happened, what we saw on TV, and then you give the people what happened behind the scenes. Thank God we have a little program that was on Peacock. That's on Peacock now, called The Legends of Wrestling. I know what it's called. It's The Legends of Wrestling. It's okay. The Legends of Wrestling. And Eric,
Can you hear me now, guys?
Yeah, there, he's back. Can you hear me?
All
right.
Yeah.
Very
Sorry
cool.
about that.
No, you're good. What did you give the last match? What was your rating?
Paul Orfner, I'll give it a 7.5. I thought it was the best match on the card.
Okay. Oh, yeah. All right. All right, now we're on the Shockmaster stuff. This is what this show is infamous for. All right, so what happened was, what we see on the TV is all the baby faces that are going to do this War Games at the Fall Brawl. You have Davey Boy. You have Sting. Ric Flair's hosting the show. What's the show called?
A Flair for the Gold.
A Flair for the Gold, the little talk show.
And by the way, the woman that was dressed in a French maid outfit, Fifi, is actually Flair's current wife.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's hilarious that they were pretending to be together. All right, so they were kind of together. Like they were saying that Flair loved Fifi, although they were still acknowledging that Flair was actually married.
Yeah.
And had kids and all that. And Beth was part of the Starrcade buildup that year. Made no sense. And then but they were saying that Flair and Fifi were kind of in love. Even though she spent most of Battle Bowl that year making out with Mean Gene.
That was hilarious. Another time, but that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, that'll be a November show.
Yeah. But yeah, so you had the baby faces there, and then Sid shows up and Harlem Heat, and he's talking a whole mess of shit about how at Fall Brawl they're gonna fuck him up, and your mystery partner ain't got shit on us because we're gonna destroy you. And then that's when, Davey Boy, they want to know who the secret partner is. And they're all excited, and Sting says it's going to shock the world. And then out comes the Shockmaster. But from the appearance to the crowd, this man falls. He's supposed to break through a wall. There's fire. It's a whole deal. He falls through the fucking wall. His Stormtrooper helmet that he's wearing falls off and rolls off of him. And he has to put it back on. And then he starts going, and then he starts talking in this deep voice, and it's like, I'm the Shockmaster, you're the man that rules the world, blah, 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 blah. And it's a terrible promo, and he's just nodding his head, and there's no mouth thing in the Stormtrooper helmet. He's just nodding his head while this thing is saying this. You can hear Davey Boy said he fucking fell in the back. He fucking fell. It's a huge moment, and it's known as one of the worst things ever in wrestling that you have to watch, like the Gobbledygooker and other things. Now that I sold what the fans saw, Doug, what happened behind the scenes that caused all this?
David Crockett, who I'm pretty sure actually after this show was no longer working for WCW, they did the rehearsal earlier in the day. And everything went through fine. He broke through the wall. It was all good. Well, David Crockett decided, you know what? Let's have a little fun and let's make Dusty look stupid. So he had somebody nail a 2x4 by where he was going to walk into the wall. And of course, Fred Ottman.
Yes.
Didn't see it. So he tripped over. And Jesse Ventura basically spent the entire next match fucking laughing about it.
Oh, yeah. He's like, hell of an entrance. The best entrance of all time.
Yeah.
And you can hear him and Tony Schiavone muting the microphone so they can laugh about it.
Yeah.
And talking like, oh, the next person's coming. But it's so funny. And it's such a good moment to where everybody's like, oh, my God, this thing's screwed. Like right off the bat. And did they turn Shock? Did Shockmaster actually wrestle that, or did he do like a cowboy thing after that?
I think the labor worker, the construction worker,
Yeah,
because he had the hard hat and you know, I don't think it was flannel, but I think it was.
yeah. He still went by Shockmaster though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This was bad shit, but it's hilarious and it's iconic.
Yeah.
And you should go back and watch it. Moving on, we have a babyface Ric Flair with hanging out with Sting going against the Colossal Kongs, which is King Kong, no, not the one you're thinking of, and Awesome Kong, no, not the one you're thinking of, with Harley Race, the one you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Also, it's not the woman from TNA. It's not Awesome Kong, and it's obviously not.
Oh, well, that was George of the Jungle.
Completely different thing. It's not King Kong, obviously. Yeah. It's two fat guys in masks with huge man boobs. My brothers. But they got their asses kicked. Ric Flair was throwing these motherfuckers around. And that's a small man.
And he really didn't get involved. I don't think he ever legally tagged into the match, did he?
No, he kept fighting him from the outside and fucking jumping on him and shit.
I think at one point he's like, I ain't fighting these two fat fucks. No. And he went outside and just started beating up on Harley for no reason.
But oh my God, how badass was Sting back then? He was fucking suplexing them and splashing them and slamming them and doing all sorts of shit with these big fellas and really working with them. And it really kind of made the match.
Wasn't the combined weight like 1,000 pounds or something like that?
That's what they said.
I mean, Jesus Christ, that's 500 a cheek.
That's a lot. That's a lot of cheeks. But I thought it was fun for what it was for two big idiots in masks and two of the greatest professional wrestlers ever. I thought it was a lot of fun. And I would actually give this a 7.3 because it was entertaining.
I was entertained, so I'd say 7.5.
So there you go.
All right. What would Eric give it if he can even hear us?
He liked it. All right, next up, we have another tag team match.
Eric's not even with us, is he?
I mean, he's not on the screen, so.
Eric.
Let's just keep moving, Bubba. Live show here. Next up, we have another tag match. We have Road Warrior Hawk and Dustin Rhodes. And with Road Warrior Animal against the Equalizer and Rick Rude, which I thought was good. I liked that Hawk show, and then Animal was like, "No, it's not me," and then Hawk shows up and starts kicking ass, and I forgot how over Hawk was and how much of a big deal that guy was. What's up, Money E? But I thought he was incredible, and I thought him showing up in this tag match, I really thought meant a lot. And I thought it kind of made Dustin Rhodes look like the man, and I thought it was a badass effort. And I would actually give this a 6.8.
I definitely would too. I mean, Equalizer obviously was the worst of the four.
Yes.
But Rick Rude did a really good job. Him and Dustin had a hot program at the time.
And that theme song's fucking.
Oh my! The fact that they got to play the theme song, I was so happy.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You fucked up the song, but
my camera's working, and everything's working now.
Yeah, everything's
for the moment. Yeah.
It's great. We're on the tag match with Dustin and Rick Rude. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought it was a decent match. The surprise was pretty awesome that the Road Warriors came out.
Yeah,
I give it a 6.5 out of 10.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna go 7.9 just because, like, the Road Warriors.
I bump it up to a 7. It was great.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I love Rick Rude, Dustin Rhodes, even before Goldust was still great. And they gave it 7 minutes, which is good for a Clash match.
Yeah.
When you're only dealing with 2 hours, and they try not to take too many commercial breaks in between.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought it was very good.
Yeah.
I agree. I thought it was. I thought Hawk had the crowd. That Road Warrior, when they talk about the Road Warrior pop, they ain't lying.
Yeah,
those guys were the shit. So and Dustin really benefited from the rub there. And Rick Rude's a constant professional, great heel. All right. Main event time, boys. Meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
We have with Harley Race, who had just took a huge loss earlier with the Kongs, and he got punched by Flair again. He's out there with Big Van Vader going against Davey Boy Smith, the former British Bulldog. I thought this was a very good main event with lots of heat, and I thought Bulldog was a perfect babyface to go against Vader. I forget how some of the Vader shit was a little silly. I'm not going to lie. Like, he was big and tough and everything, but his facial expressions were a little in the whole, and the doing the V and everything. Like, he was badass, but it's still a bit corny. But I thought it was two really good guys going against each other, and it was a big money main event for a show like this. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I got a lot of enjoyment out of it.
It was so cool. I mean, I'm a fan of both guys.
Me too.
So to me, this was definitely a really good match. And, you know, they did have chemistry. Now, they spent a lot of time in WWF as partners.
Yes.
I mean, they did have a few matches against each other. But they worked really well together. Davey Boy showed how strong he was, and he is a powerful man.
Yeah.
Because he didn't he suplex Vader twice?
Yeah, he got to really show his muscles.
Yeah.
He looked badass in this. He really, even though he lost, he looked incredible. I thought he was a great main eventer to go against Vader.
Yeah. I mean, this match was fantastic. I'm giving it an 8.3. The surprise at the end with Cactus Jack coming out and continuing to tell the story there, that was awesome. Huge fan of that. And then, like, when they abruptly ended the program and Tony's like, we got to go. And technically, so do we had to get back into work. So it's just like, all right, cool. Because we got to go too.
Yeah. I thought it was a badass main event. I thought both guys wrestled incredibly well. I thought Bulldog looked nice and tough for what he was supposed to be. And I thought Vader still looked like a good heel. And Harley played a role. And, yeah, great match. I give it an 8.5. I thought it was a solid – for not going that long, I thought it was a solid main event to this card.
Yeah. Which, again, on TV – Go ahead, Eric.
Event, but it was two good wrestlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, 11 minutes is pretty long for a Clash match.
Yeah.
But, I mean, unless it involves Flair going a singles match against somebody, then the match has to go like 20 minutes.
Yes.
Which there's really no complaint as long as he's working with, a really worthy opponent. But yeah, no, this match was great. It was a good ending, like I said, with Cactus and Harley Race. Like, I never really understood why Harley would be like in Vader's corner, because in my opinion, Vader really didn't need him, but also too, Harley was kind of like the guy that would keep Vader in line.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of hard to make a 450-pound badass look like a chicken shit heel.
Yeah.
But Harley did a fantastic job. I mean, even after taking 5 punches. Yeah.
He was underrated as a manager.
Absolutely. Even after taking 5 punches in the jaw from Flair, just so Flair didn't have to wrestle the two fat guys.
What would you give it?
8.4.
Eric?
I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay. Not as high, but yeah. All right. Let's give our final thoughts on the show, boys, and then we'll get the hell out of here. SmackDown's coming on soon. It's been a fun talking about this show and talking about the current stuff. For everybody, make sure to join the group at Facebook, Wrestling Through the Years. It's a big fucking deal. Join it. We posted there a lot, and we're going to talk about this a lot, so it's going to be great. I got unplugged from the whole deal. But, yeah, so make sure to pay attention to that, and hell yeah.
Yeah, definitely make sure you pay attention. Do we know what we're going to do next week?
I don't.
Would you like me to think of something?
I'll come up with something.
You want to come up with
Yeah, let
something?
Eric
I'll
come up
text
with
you. Yeah, I'll come up with something. I think I have a few ideas.
All right.
and it's going to be incredible. And we're excited for that. What's your final thoughts on the show, Eric? And what would you rate the whole show?
I thought it was a solid show for Clash. Probably one of the better ones I've seen. So I give it a 8 out of 10.
All right. 100%. 8 out of 10.
What
I
do you
thought it
guys
was
give it? Oh,
I give it an 8 point no, I give it an 8 out of 10 too, I think. I thought it was a really good show. There was some flaws. There was a couple of snoozers, but top to bottom, it was pretty solid. And even with the Shockmaster shit, you would think that's a reason not to watch the show, but that's even reason more to watch the show because the Shockmaster stuff's so fun. So I think it's an incredible little clash with a lot of good hidden gems on it, and I think it's definitely worth a watch. 8.10. Doug, take us home.
I would definitely give it an 8.5 out of 10. You had some guys on here who are some of my favorites: Arn Anderson, Davey Boy, Vader. I'm always going to say I was a huge fan of Johnny B. Bad. I get ridiculed for it.
You deserve
it. I do like Too Cold Scorpio, Bobby Eaton. There wasn't, to me, the worst match on the card was Johnny B. Bad and Max Payne.
100%.
Even though there was a story to it still, but everything else, even Flair and Sting, which it is, you and I talked about this yesterday when we were watching it, how weird it is for Flair and Sting to walk out, by the way, to the ring together, but also walk out to Sting's music.
Yeah.
Like, Flair's music is one thing.
Yeah, coming out to A Man Called Sting was weird for Ric Flair.
Yeah. It's such an upbeat song.
They should have came out separately.
Yeah. But no, it was just, I mean, it showed good solidarity.
Yeah, it was fun.
So, but I really enjoyed this show. I mean, yes, it was a 1993 Clash. It was a 1993 show, and a lot of those suck, but you can find the good in them.
And while you're cleaning your schnoz, we're going to get the hell out of here. Thanks for joining us, folks. We'll see everybody next week. And, follow on Facebook. Eric's going to come up with something. We're going to post it in the group, and we'll see everybody next time. See you, boys.
All right, see you. Eric, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yep, 5:30.
Yep.
When teams combine.
Later.
Later.